Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D, Better Off Reading Every Day. Today we have two books for you and they are celebrating aprons. Yes, we call them all different names, smocks, all kinds of things, half apron, full apron. But with all these cooking shows and all this cooking that's going on in your house and cleaning and painting and all these things, I've been using a lot of my aprons, so I wanted to share stories with you about aprons. The first one is My Apron by Carle. The second one is Apron On, Apron Off, and this is by Carle and Kay, and the pictures are by Yaroslava. Sorry. I wanted to open this one out to you because on the back is actually the apron that you're seeing there. And boys and girls, I have to tell you, aprons are very easy to make. Very easy to make. One of these days, I'll actually show you. So, we're going to shuffle them up. First one, My Apron by Carle. My Uncle Adam wears a white apron. The apron has a big pocket in the front. He is a plasterer. He plasters houses inside and outside. I want a white apron with a pocket, and I want to help my Uncle Adam. My Aunt Elizabeth measures me. She cuts a piece of cloth and sews an apron with a pocket for me. Thank you, Aunt Elizabeth. I love my apron. In the morning, my Uncle Adam and I go to work. First, we mix a batch of plaster. Then my Uncle Adam asked me to carry the plaster up to the top floor so he can plaster the chimney. All morning, I carry plaster up the stairs to my Uncle Adam. Thank you, says Uncle Adam. You are a good helper. At lunchtime, my Uncle Adam and I sit down and eat and talk. God, I love lunch. Eat and talk. Some of my best conversations with my kids are during lunchtime, eating and talking. But not at the same time, because we don't talk with our mouths full. Or do we? All afternoon, I go up and down the stairs to carry plaster to my Uncle Adam. I am a good helper. Late in the afternoon, my Uncle Adam and I go home to supper. Next year, I will help my Uncle Adam again. Then I will get a cap, just like my Uncle Adam's. The end, boys and girls, of My Apron by Eric Carle. Now there is a letter back here and I'm going to read it to you. My Apron is the true story that happened when I was 8 years old. I had a couple of days off from school and visited my Aunt Elizabeth and Uncle Adam. They had no children of their own and were happy to have me around. My aunt was as gentle and as talkative as my uncle was gruff and tight-lipped. But when he did speak, his booming voice could be heard for miles. Yet underneath his roughness was a kind man. I had visited my relatives often before, but this was the first time that I noticed my uncle's apron. And right away I took a fancy to this big white apron with a pocket. I still remember how proud I was of my own apron and how important I felt to help my uncle with his work. Sincerely, Eric Carle. Absolutely beautiful. My Apron by Eric Carle. And I know you guys recognize that name because Eric Carle has written some phenomenal books that I want you to go look up and find them. When you find them, you will be in awe. Now, I do not own the rights to this book or any of the books that I am reading to you, boys and girls, but I do love storytelling magic. And today's storytelling magic is all about aprons. Next book is Apron On, Apron Off. To Jean and Michelle and all busy aprons. When Mother put her apron on, things began to hum. Crumbs disappeared from the floor. Furniture was polished to shine like a mirror. Lunch appeared on the table from nowhere. I need an apron too, Joan said. So Mother sat down and made Joan an apron. It tied with a big bow in the back. Joan became very busy. Mother washed the dishes, Joan dried them. Mother dusted in high places, Joan dusted in low places. I'm just as busy as you, she said, as they worked side by side. That night, Joan asked her father, "Do you wear an apron when you work?" Father laughed. "With bows like yours?" Joan shook her head. No, bows not seem right for fathers. Come downstairs tomorrow and see for yourself, Father said. Early the next morning, Joan was dressed and ready, waiting. "We'll be leaving very soon," said Mother, but there was a knock at the door. "Who is there?" It was the carpenter from the shop downstairs. He came to fix Joan's shelf. And what do you think he wore? An apron over his overalls, with pockets here and pockets there, and pockets everywhere. From one he took his nails, from another he took his hammer, and from his back pocket he took a folding ruler which opened and opened and opened until it was tall as he. Then he measured. Soon Joan had a shelf all to herself. She put her toys on it. "Is my daddy a carpenter?" she asked. "Come and you will see for yourself," said Mother, and soon they were on their way. There on the corner stood a newsboy selling newspapers to everyone and shouting out the news. What did he shout? "Read all about it, read all about it." Where do you think he kept his money? In an apron with a pouch like a kangaroo's. Is my daddy a newsboy? Joan asked. Oh no, Mother said. Just then she caught her heel in a hole. When she pulled up her shoe, the heel came off. Oh dear, I'll have to hobble home. Joan's face turned as sad as rain. But look, Mother said, isn't that a shoemaker's sign? A very large shoe, big enough for a giant, hung over the store door. Joan helped Mother hop, hop, hop into the shop. And what do you think the shoemaker wore? A big leather apron. It had strings that went around and round his stomach and tied into a shoelace knot. There in a pocket were 100 tiny nails. Safe in a slot hung his knife. Now he raised his hammer. 1, 2 bangs on the shoe, Joan counted, and Mother had a new heel. Once again, they were on their way. Near the bus stop was the bake shop. The window looked like a birthday party. Joan sniffed the air. It smelled so good, she said. Come inside, said Mother, and we'll buy some cookies. And what do you think the baker wore? What do you think, boys and girls? There he stood in an apron, a clean white apron, except for some powdered sugar, flour dust, and a splash of bright red currant jelly. The baker gave Mother his box of cookies, her box of cookies. For Joan, he saved a big, crunchy one with chocolate bits. For the nice little girl, he said. Now, there was the rush for the bus. There was so much to watch as they rode downtown, for many people hurrying, so many cars and trucks and motorcycles moving, and buildings small and square, and some so big and tall they scraped the sky. I guess that's why they call them skyscrapers. At last, Mother took Joan's hand and walked to the biggest building. Inside, the elevator went up with a whoosh. Joan held onto her stomach to make sure it came along. The door opened and they stepped into a busy roar. Over the clank and the bang, Joan heard Mother say, "This is the print shop where Daddy works." Men sat at big machines. The machines looked like the biggest typewriters in the world. Mother said, "They are putting letters together to make words." Joan hardly heard. She was looking everywhere. Where was Daddy? There, at the long table, Joan saw his smiling face. She ran to him. His hands were dirty and his face was dirty. Then she saw that he wore an apron, a dirty blue apron full of ink stains. He picked Joan up and gave her a kiss. Now her face was dirty too. Joan had to shout over all the noise, "Daddy, you do wear an apron." Father said, "I use the apron to wipe my hands. They are full of printer's ink." Father took 4 small letters from his pocket. He gave them to Joan. Then he helped her ink them and stamp them on paper. They spelled her name, Joan, Joan. As soon as Joan came home, she took a towel, a clean white one, snowy like the baker's apron. She folded it and sewed the sides to make a pocket, a big one like the newsboys. Then she took 2 long ribbons and 2 safety pins. She pinned the ribbons to the towel. Now she had 2 ties, just like the shoemakers. Mother helped her sew on smaller pockets. They were printer's pockets, just like Daddy's. They were of different colors. In one pocket, she put her crayons. In another, her scissors. In another, a toy from the shelf the carpenter had built. Now, on rainy days, Joan played carpenter or baker or printer or shoemaker or even newsboy. Apron on and apron off, and apron on again. Joan is as busy can be. But when Mother puts on her apron and gets things done, Joan puts on the one that is just like Mother's. I'm just as busy as you, she says, as they work side by side. How they make things hum. The end, boys and girls, of Apron On, Apron Off by Carle and Kay, pictures by Yaroslava. What is my favorite page in this book? When she goes to visit her daddy at work. He picked Joan up and gave her a kiss. Now her face was dirty too. Joan had to shout over all the noise, "Daddy, you do wear an apron." Father said, "I use the apron to wipe my hands. They are full of printer's ink." Father took 4 small letters from his pocket. He gave them to Joan. Then he helped her ink them and stamp them on paper. They spelled her name, Joan. I am dedicating this book to a girl at school named Joan. She is a beautiful little girl with a beautiful voice, and I always tell her, use your big, bold, beautiful voice so I could hear you, because we're all wearing masks, and sometimes when she speaks, I can hardly hear her. I can hear mumbling and I can see the mask moving, but I can't hear her. But when she does speak, I have to tell you, it's bold, it's big, and it's beautiful, just like the young lady that she is. And I say to her, use your big, beautiful, bold voice. And she does, and it is a thing to behold. So I am dedicating this book, Joan, spelled out from Dad's work, in this book about aprons, to Joan from my after school. And the last page, apron on and apron off, and apron on again. Joan is as busy can be. But when Mother puts on her apron to get things done, Joan puts on one that's just like her mother's. I'm just as busy as Mom, she says, as they work side by side. How they make things hum. And that's the reason, because when her mom comes to pick her up, the humming, they make things hum, just like the mom and daughter in this book. It is a love affair, like something you would see out of a fairy tale book. They make things hum, and they hug, and they greet each other. And it is absolutely beautiful. As a mother of a daughter, I remember those days. I absolutely love them, and I know her mom loves them too. So dedicated to Joan and her mom, and staying busy. Joan is as busy as can be, just like her mom. It's Miss Reynolds with B.O.R.E.D. Better Off Reading Every Day. It has been my pleasure to bring this book to you about aprons, both books. And guess what? I want to show you my apron. I have several aprons up here. This is one. This is the lace apron. Now we are going to try the sunflower apron. That's the sunflower apron with a pocket. Not all aprons have pockets, but when they do, they're the best. This is my orchid apron. This actually matches my curtains because I love orchids, and my entire apartment has orchid curtains all over it. So this is my orchid curtain, and that, as you can see, is very lifelike. Philadelphia Eagles apron. You know, when you're cooking and there's a game on, this is the apron. Yep, that's it. I hope this doesn't fall down. Let's put it over here. And we have, let's see, hold on. Bear with me. Oh, we have, not bad, right? This is actually a monogrammed apron, and it is a W that's on here. And no, my name doesn't start with a W, but I kind of think it's my wow apron. It's like, wow, wow, look at that apron, wow. So that's this one. My hair is going to get messed up, don't worry about it. Then we have this one, which is actually a half apron, which is what I grew up seeing my mom wear, a half apron, because it's like this. This is one of the easiest ones to make because it doesn't go around your neck if you ever want to make them. And it also has a pocket and a bunch of bears on it. This is one of my favorites, and I will tell you why in a second. This is my Thomas Kincaid apron. And if you're familiar with Thomas Kincaid, it's all of these beautiful, beautiful paintings. And they're all beautiful like that. Absolutely beautiful. You can get mugs and calendars and all kinds of things from Thomas Kincaid. And this is one of the aprons. Beautiful, right? And last but not least, just a regular apron. This one is actually made of vinyl, and this one is one where you can do gardening in it and all kinds of things. And this is one I really, really love. It's one of my favorites. I don't know if you can see it or hear it. If you love aprons and you want one that's going to hold up and it's just not cute, it's going to do the job, this would be the apron out of all of them. So that is all of my aprons that I have to show you today, boys and girls. And there's just one apron left. And it is this one. So I think I have like 3 aprons on right now, but we won't tell anybody. And that's the apron that goes with this book. This one. Can you see it? And here's my other apron book. There they go. That's both of them. So we have My Apron by Carle, and we have Apron On, Apron Off by Helen Kay. It's been my pleasure, boys and girls. Bored with Miss Reynolds. Get your apron on and go have fun. It can be used for just about anything, just so you keep your clothes nice and clean. Bye.